Whispers from the Well, The Haunting of Homestead. Growing up in Homestead, I'd always heard the stories about the old Ruiz farmstead and the sealed well at its center. The tales were of the sort passed down from grandparent to child, designed, I assumed, to keep curious kids away from potential danger. I never took the legends seriously. Ghostly whispers? Come on. I would laugh at how easily an obviously made-up urban legend had become something real to people, and there was no logical argument to sway their conviction. My childhood friends, Lucy and Alex, often recalled their grandparents' tales about the farm. They said that after sundown, mournful cries and whispers echoed from the well. Generations ago, something terrible had happened, and since then, the well was sealed with a stone slab. An offering of fresh flowers was placed atop it daily, a tradition maintained by the elderly Mrs. Ruiz, the last living member of her family. Despite the eerie stories, as adults, Lucy, Alex, and I decided to convert the old farmstead into a community garden. It felt like the perfect way to honor the past while serving the community. Plus, I saw it as an opportunity to debunk those childhood myths. I thought nothing of the sealed well, other than it being an odd centerpiece. One evening, after a day of tilling and planting, we sat around a fire, the sealed well just a few yards away. The soft glow of the fire cast flickering shadows on the stone, making it look as if it were breathing. "You know," Lucy began hesitantly, "my grandma used to say that if you listened closely at midnight, you could hear the whispers of the past seeking to relay their story." Alex rolled his eyes. My granddad said something similar, but he also believed in chupacabras and alien abductions, so I chuckled. Why not listen tonight? Put the tales to rest. A bit past 11:30 p.m., we sat by the well, waiting for the alleged haunting hour. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, the atmosphere grew colder. The soft chirping of crickets ceased, replaced by an unsettling silence. Skeptical but trying to keep the mood light, I joked, "Maybe the crickets heard the ghost tales too." Midnight. And then, just as I was about to mock our silly stakeout, it began. A faint murmur, gradually escalating into discernible whispers. Words from another era, phrases like treachery, protect the treasure, and avenge us, swirled around. My heart dropped as ice ran through my veins, trying to rationalize everything I had believed was nonsense could be real. The supernatural is Joel about. Lucy's face paled. "It's real." Alex, ever the brave one, put his ear closer. "It sounds like multiple voices. Men, women, children." Curiosity overtaking my fear, I gently tapped the stone. "Who are you?" The whispers grew louder, more frantic. "Betrayed. Stolen birthright. Seek the treasure. Unseal our fate." Suddenly, Mrs. Ruiz, frail but with a fierce look in her eyes, appeared. "I warned my ancestors, and I warned you," she shouted. "The well is the resting place of our forefathers, betrayed by their own kin over a hidden treasure. By listening, you've acknowledged them. They'll want to be set free or appeased." I gulped. "How do we appease them?" Mrs. Ruiz pointed to the old farmhouse. "The treasure, a family heirloom, was hidden from the traitorous kin. Find it, place it by the well, and maybe they'll find peace." We looked wearily at each other, yet we motivated beyond any fear we felt. It was like a pull of gravity to do the right thing by the spirits that I believe were coaxing us to help. We scoured the farmhouse, basements to attics. Hours felt like minutes. Finally, in a concealed compartment behind an old portrait, we found a chest. Inside, gold coins, jewelry, and a jeweled dagger gleamed. There was an energy growing around us that was undeniably supernatural and overwhelming. I would never believe it possible that I would be saying anything like this. We placed the chest beside the well. The whispers grew ecstatic, forming a chorus of gratitude. By dawn, they faded, leaving behind a silence that felt peaceful rather than oppressive. Mrs. Ruiz approached the well that morning, tears in her eyes. "You've done it. They're at peace. But remember, some tales, no matter how outlandish, have roots in truth." The community garden flourished, becoming the pride of Homestead. The well remained, now a symbol of respect for the past. As for me, the staunch skeptic, I had learned that sometimes belief isn't about seeing, but about listening. And in the stillness of a haunted midnight, I had listened. Be careful assuming that a story like this one is made up just to scare people, because there are a lot of things out there that just can't be explained. The Sunken Secrets of Tarpon Springs. I'd always been a pragmatist, a man of science and reason. The sea, with its vast mysteries, was just another body of water to me. So, when I began my summer internship in Tarpon Springs, diving for sponges with old Greek divers, I scoffed at their superstitious tales, until that one fateful dive. Tarpon Springs was steeped in Greek heritage, with its sponge docks and generations of skilled divers who had migrated and made it their home. My task was to document and analyze the various sponges for environmental research. The locals, especially the elder divers, always spoke in hushed tones about an ancient city submerged deep below, a place they refused to venture. To them it was an abyss of malevolence, but to me it sounded like a marine archaeologist's dream. Diver. His family hailed from a small Greek island known for its occult knowledge and dealings with the supernatural. Legend had it that they had been guardians, protecting mankind from the unknown entities that lurked in the abyss. Giannis, though aged, carried that legacy with a heavy heart and sharp eyes that seemed to pierce beyond reality. One morning, Giannis, a grizzled diver with a bushy mustache and deeply lined face, approached me. "You don't believe in our stories, do you, young man?" he asked, his blue eyes piercing mine. I chuckled. "It's not that I don't respect your tales, Giannis. I just haven't seen anything that science can't explain." He nodded solemnly, then handed me an ornate, tarnished bronze coin. "I found this during a dive years ago," he said. "It's from that place. If you're so curious, why not seek the city out? But remember, some things are better left untouched." The coin was captivating, bearing unfamiliar inscriptions and the image of a deity, half man and half fish. My curiosity piqued. Gathering some fellow interns and borrowing equipment, we set out the next morning. The day was perfect, the sun glinting off the calm waters. We sailed to a remote spot Giannis had vaguely described. Geared up, we began our descent. As we delved deeper, the world around us turned a cold, inky blue. And then I saw it. Columns, statues, and ruins sprawled across the ocean floor. An entire city hidden away for centuries. My heart raced as we approached an entrance that led to a grand palace. Skepticism forgotten, my thoughts raced. Could this discovery change history? Inside the palace, a massive mural captivated me. It depicted worshippers around the deity on the coin, offering jewels and trinkets. But the deity's eyes, even in mural form, were eerily lifelike, seeming to watch our every move. In the mural's corner, trapped divers with terror-stricken faces reached out, their souls appearing to be sucked away. As I examined the mural, a glint nearby caught my attention. A gem-encrusted chest lay half buried in sand. Without thinking, I reached out to touch it. The moment my fingers brushed the chest, the water around us turned ice cold. A relentless current began pulling us towards the mural. I struggled, panic surging. My earlier skepticism seemed foolish now. The half-man, half-fish deity began to emerge from the mural, its eyes glowing a fierce red. We were trapped, its mighty pull drawing us closer. My vision blurred, lungs burning for air. Suddenly, a strong hand grabbed my arm, yanking me away. It was Giannis, his aged face focused and determined. He began to chant in an old dialect, his voice resonating through the water. As he did, the deity paused as though conflicted. Taking the chance, Giannis motioned us to swim upwards while he kept chanting. We powered through, breaking the water's surface, gasping for breath. Climbing aboard our boat, we watched in horror as whirlpools formed below, the sea churning violently. Giannis climbed aboard last, exhaustion evident on his face. "I warned you," he murmured. "The city protects its secrets." I clutched the coin in my hand, the weight of my skepticism replaced by gratitude and respect. We returned to the docks in silence, the events below a haunting reminder of the mysteries the world still held. From that day, I approached the ocean and its tales with newfound reverence. The sea, I realized, was both wondrous and terrifying. And while science could explain much, some things remained beyond its grasp. The sunken city of Tarpon Springs was one of them. The cursed Couture Boca Raton, with its ritzy shops and high-end clientele, was the last place I'd expect to find a haunted vintage store. But as they say, even in the brightest of places, shadows lurk. Everyone in town had whispered tales about Vivian's vintage boutique. They said each piece in the store carried memories of its past owner. Some said these were blessings, but others whispered of darker tales, of wearers possessed by long-gone spirits. I rolled my eyes every time someone recounted such stories. That was until a fateful visit changed my perspective. My sister Clara, always the believer in the supernatural, had warned me countless times about Vivian's. "Liam, those clothes have stories, histories, souls even. It's not just fabric." I'd laugh it off. "Clara, they're just clothes. Passed down, yes, but haunted. You read too much fiction." Her reaction was not one of amusement, more like she was looking at someone that was naive, almost a sympathetic look. "Then just stay away from your crazy sister. You don't have to believe. Please." I agreed to get her to calm down. She was more intense than I had ever seen. One afternoon, seeking a classic tuxedo for an upcoming event, I found myself outside Vivian's. The ornate sign, a golden V surrounded by intricate designs, drew me in. The moment I entered, a soft melody from a gramophone welcomed me. The place was an enchanting maze of clothes from various eras, mannequins adorned in flapper dresses, WW2 uniforms, and much more. A regal-looking woman, presumably Vivian, approached. Her silver hair was tied up neatly, and her piercing green eyes seemed to know my every thought. "Looking for something special?" she asked. "A vintage tuxedo, perhaps," I replied. She gave me a look that was unsettling, though I couldn't quite figure out why, almost like I was disorientated. She smiled, leading me to a section that had a tuxedo unlike any I'd seen. It seemed to shimmer with an ethereal glow. "This," Vivian said, "belonged to a gentleman from the 1920s, a charismatic man but with many secrets. I tried it on, it was a perfect fit. Feeling bolder and more charismatic, I posed in front of the mirror. The price was surprisingly affordable. Ignoring Clara's warnings, I purchased it. The event was a roaring success. The tuxedo wasn't just clothing, it was a presence. People were drawn to me, hanging on to every word I uttered. It felt incredible, but things soon took a sinister turn. My narrow view of the laws of what is real get turned inside out. I began to experience vivid dreams set in the 1920s. Jazz clubs, underground bars, and a mysterious woman named Lila who always called out to me, her voice tinged with desperation. Each dream ended at a cliff by the ocean, where Lila's pleas turned into chilling screams. The line between past and present blurred. I'd find myself at locations from my dreams, though I had no memory of going there. Clara, noticing my exhaustion and dazed state, grew increasingly worried. When she saw me wearing the tuxedo at a family dinner, her face turned white. "That's from Vivian's, isn't it?" she whispered. She looked frightened, watching me. I nodded, recounting my dreams and blackouts. Tears welled in her eyes. "Liam, Lila was our great-grandmother. She died under mysterious circumstances, rumored to be heartbreak over a lover who betrayed her." Chilled to the bone, I recalled the seaside cliff from my dreams. We decided to visit the cliff, hoping to find answers. As we stood there, the waves crashing below, Lila's screams echoed in my ears. I felt an overpowering urge to jump, to join her in the abyss. Clara, sensing my intention, grabbed me. "The tuxedo, Liam. It's influencing you. That man, he's one of our ancestors. He betrayed Lila. Trust me, it is real. Get rid of that now." With every ounce of strength, I stripped off the tuxedo and we watched as it was taken by the wind, disappearing into the waves below. A weight was instantly lifted off of me, I felt. The dreams ceased, and my life returned to normalcy. But I had changed. No longer the skeptic, I now knew some things defied logic. Vivian's disappeared overnight. In its place stood a vacant lot, as if the boutique never existed. But sometimes, in the quiet of the night, the soft melodies of a gramophone drift through Boca Raton, reminding me of the thin line between the tangible and the ethereal.